So this morning we're at here in el Museo del Oro, and we're here to see some indigenous artifacts that would have been found over some years. So the first thing we have here, what is this?
That is gold. Aluvión gold, y esa es la palma de chontaduro.
Okay, so this is a type of wood and it's also edible, yeah?
Yeah, well, no, the wood, no. The fruit, yes.
The fruit, okay.
Yeah.
So.
With the wood, we create different kind of artifacts. On those is la marimba, which is like a piano.
Okay. So they would use the wood and make a musical instrument?
More or less like that, but
yeah?
It's like when African people arrived, they use it as a musical instrument.
Oh, it was the African people?
Yeah. Spanish people, indigenous people use it just like for creating artifacts, or like spears, bows, arrows, that's the thing.
Okay, and these would have been gold that they found, that they would have made?
They found it on the rivers actually.
Okay.
Because it's alluvial gold.
Right. So alluvial gold that they would have found in the rivers, and they would have made it into these forms. Yeah? And these are?
Quartz.
Right.
Quartzo.
Oh, and this is also platinum.
Platinum.
Right. And quartz.
Exactly.
And what was this again?
Eso es un volante de uso.
Okay. And we continue along. So here we have some instruments of the life, right?
Exactly. So we had some baskets. We also have some. This is a spear, and those are knives.
Right. Do you think that they would have used this spear for fishing?
I think yeah, and also for chasing animals.
Right.
Big animals.
So this small spear would have been big enough to kill a big animal?
I think so. Actually, well, not big because we don't have big animals in the past, but probably armadillos.
Okay.
Or those kind of.
Like the size of maybe a cat.
Exactly.
Okay, and these are stones that they would have sharpened and made into for a knife.
Exactly, yeah. And that is the actual real size of corn or maize.
And that there is what the actual size of a corn would have been back in the day. But through scientists and genetic modification, now we have bigger corns. Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's the quinto milenio antes de Cristo. So it's the 5th millennium before Jesus Christ, which is really old.
Right. So what he's saying is that this is so old, it was before the time of Jesus Christ.
Exactly, and this is when they start living in a community, when they stay here in this earth, on this region, and they create different objects. The first one is an alcarraza.
And this would have been one for
ritual things, exactly.
Right?
So inside alcarraza, you usually put on chicha, which is a fermented or a really bitter beverage.
Okay. So this would have been used for ritual purposes, and they would have had a drink in it. And this is?
This is a cuenco. Those are for using in daily life.
Okay, so this is regular daily life artifacts.
And those are alcarrazas and vasijas, vase. Or we can say pots. This is for domestic use.
Okay, so regular use as well.
And those are the tools.
So this would have been for the head of an axe, yeah?
Exactly.
And this would have been used for grinding.
Some kind of corn too,
Right. So you grind corn maybe, or maybe cassava.
Exactly. Actually, the thing that we ate here was arroz. That is like a root that is edible. So.
Okay, so they would have grind some root there and make it into something edible.
Yeah.
And this would have been fish hooks, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So those are for fishing. So I think the name is hooks, right?
Right.
Well, so the thing is it's made of gold because you know that the gold is really easy to work.
Right.
It's really soft. And also it's you don't catch acid,
Right. So these fish hooks were made out of gold because at that time it was basically the metal that could have been shaped easily. So they made hooks out of it and use it to fish. Gold, however, it doesn't oxidize, so it was even better to use when crafting these kind of metallic objects. And this here now is?
Oh, those are the shapes for the earrings.
Oh,
just
right.
the shape, just the mold, okay? Because you can put that in your ear.
Right. Okay, so we don't have an example to show, but that's fine for now.
Yes.
And this one is here. You explained that this was
This is
basket
the
here.
canastero.
A canastero.
El canastero is a person. It was like the person in charge of the trade of the market.
Right.
And how they move the market? Easy. So they have this call that is called trueque. A trueque is when you exchange things. Okay. So I got something, you had something else, so we exchange it. So now you have mine and I have yours.
Right.
Remember that the gold didn't have any kind of value, no economical value. It's not like currency. It's just for sacred things. So the way to move the market was using like the trueque.
Right. Okay, so in a nutshell, he was explaining that before, gold wasn't something that was used as currency, so the people would have done a lot of bartering or trading among things that they would have had. So maybe fruits or vegetables or livestock. What it is he was explaining earlier on is the toucan, yeah? The toucan is not something that is native, it's not a native bird to Cali. So they assume over some time that it was actually something that was traded and has now become a bird that is now native to Cali, yeah?
Well, no, the toucan
It's
is
not here?
near. No, it's not near here.
Oh,
Toucan-
it's not here?
No,
Okay.
toucan is only for the Amazonian. The thing that we have a toucan is like some ornaments.
Ah,
in the
okay,
shape
okay.
of a toucan. So it's like
Oh, so I understand now. So they don't have toucans here actually, but they would have seen it somehow because they would have found evidence of that in artifacts that they would have found. Yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And this is more gold, right?
Yeah, gold. Those are masks for deaf people. So you put them with the cacique where shaman died,
Right.
and represent some kind of like higher status, social status probably.
Oh, so not everybody would get that, right?
No.
Okay. So these are masks that were used on people of higher status. When they died, they would have made these masks and put it over the face of the corpse. And this would have been like
That is like a drill.
a drill. And this image here would illustrate how it was actually used. It kind of looks very similar to what you would use to light a fire when you swizzle the stick together. And we continue. And this is just jewelry, right?
Exactly. Those are like ocarinas.
And these are whistles, basically. And this is a mirror, yeah?
Exactly. That is a mirror.
What he said is that if it's wet, it can give a reflection.
Yeah, exactly. And they use it for like shape
Ah.
your beer.
So they use it to shave. I think I need one of that.
But the thing is, like, they didn't use like razors,
What did they use?
like tweezers.
Ah, okay.
So they plug hair by hair.
Wow.
Which is like really painful.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Okay, and this one is
Those are pottery and other alcarraza.
Right.
And it is the shape of, well, what I think is like she's given birth.
okay. So this one here is a pottery that kind of illustrates a woman giving birth, because clearly it can be seen that this image, it has a breast, and maybe the camera can get on that end, but it has a vagina shape, and maybe someone at the back here assisting in
Yeah,
the delivery.
in Spanish we say partera.
Okay, so that would be the lady who would help with delivery, right?
Exactly. Yeah, she helped to deliver the baby, and the baby is like in healthy. It's like in a healthy way. It's not gonna die during the process.
Right.
So we're like a nurse.
Okay, so and this one here is a bit unusual, but it basically illustrates that the people of those times would have had knowledge of the human body. They would have had knowledge of the human anatomy, as they would show from this side that there's a bone coming out from by the leg there. So that's as much as they would have gathered from that. And these are
Those are also, that's pottery, and it represents some kind of weight. So, for example, this is like cotudos. Coto is like something that grows here in your throat.
Thyroids.
Yeah, it's
Right.
when you eat a lot of salt. You suppose that you got some kind of coto. So the thing is like, it says that in that age, the water didn't have, or well. So it didn't have like iodine. So when you have a diet without iodine, that means like you're gonna have some kind of misformations in your body. In that case, so we have people with big head, which is another disease, and also cotos.
Right. And so this is the one where he mentioned with the person with the big head. And he also said that at that time, they wouldn't have considered these things deformities. They would have considered it to be something that is different, and perhaps these people might have been a little bit more knowledgeable, or even have some kind of other knowledge that could assist or help with the tribe, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So like because you are different and going like to put away of my community, now it's like you have some kind of different power,
Right.
something that you can offer, and that's why they consider that these people were like wise people.
Right. And these type of abnormalities still happen in our society and our age.
Yeah, but I don't think it, well, probably could be of iodine, but we have another kind of issues from nowadays because chemistry has evolved, and well, also this.
And these would have been?
Ocarinas, and that is the shape of a bird.
So more whistles here.
Exactly. It's supposed that when you use them, so it sounds like it.
Right. And these are just pottery, right?
Different kind of animals that we have in that age.
So what he also mentioned is that they used to eat pigeons, you said, right?
Yeah.
So the pigeon was part of the diet of the indigenous people.
Also armadillo.
And the armadillo. So this would have been the armadillo here. He did mention as well that snakes and jaguars and bats were also considered very sacred animals. And the snake would have represented rebirth.
Yeah.
The bat would have been
the powers of the night.
Powers of the night, and the jaguar.
It's like strength and wisdom too. Remember that the jaguar is associated with the shaman.
Right.
So in that case, it's like sacred. Also, there is a myth that says that the jaguar is like the descender of the sun, which is the god,
okay.
because of the color. So it's like that's why the jaguar is really important, also sacred. Also,
Right.
it's an animal that it's like he can chase in the day and in the night. So it's like has like different kind of properties that shows that it's a really strong animal.
Right. I agree with that. And the frog would have represented what again?
Oh, it represents like fertilidad, I think.
Right.
So it's like it can attract rain also. So they use it also in some rituals because there are some frogs that are toxic.
Right.
And they use those kind of animals in rituals too.
And this would have been?
Those are objects for the ritual. That is for jopo. It's supposed that inside you put the jopo and then you just like inhale.
Right.
And use it in the ritual. And those are pipes for smoking.
So these are regular pipes. And then this is another pot.
And there you put tobacco inside.
Tobacco is what they would use. And we
Remember
continue.
that tobacco was smoke and coca was sugar.
So what it is he mentioned also is because they would have used some substance as a hallucinogen. At that time they would have had visions of certain things, I suppose. And these would have been representations of the things that they would have seen under that particular high. And for example, this one here, this image represents this thing. So they would have crafted it during that time. And this one here,
that is like it represents different animals.
right?
So you got it here. So we had some snakes, some jaguar tail, bat face, and also I think this is a turtle.
A turtle head.
Yeah. So it's like you mix a lot of animals and you create one unique creature.
Right. So don't do drugs, otherwise you will see those things. And these are just what? This is the second phase of it, right?
Yeah, this is the second phase. This is the 2nd century after Jesus Christ. So here we have some kind of evolution, and well, the evolution in everything. It starts with the art and also with the gold work.
Right. So this is the second phase, as he just said, after Jesus, and they started putting some art in the pottery. So a little bit more profound designs. I guess they would have developed skills as they went along. And we continue.
That we have some gold work, which is like really complex, and also the pieces, like, you know, the objects are really well done.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of detail.
Right. And you did say that each one cannot be replicated because they would have used a mold.
Exactly.
To
You can
create one.
replicate it. You can replicate those objects.
Right. And these would have been.
So those are the things that the shaman use. So we had some. This is for a cane.
Mm-hmm.
We also had some spoons and some plates of gold, and the poporo, which is like those vase that are there, the poporo, which is like really special. As I
Right.
told you, it's like the representation of the womb, and the stick represents like the penis. So
Right.
when you put the coca lips inside the poporo and you sort of mix it up, so it represents life, life
Right.
itself. And those one here, I forgot, is like, those are the tweezers.
Okay.
They
This is
use-
what they used to pull the hair out?
Exactly.
Whoa.
And it is made of gold.
That is intense. Right, so these here, as he's saying, would represent the womb, and the sticks on top there would represent the penis, and they would put coca leaves inside. Yeah?
With Cali.
Good. And this are just pottery, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is another frog, you know? This is like the bufo.
Right.
You know that thing?
The bullfrog?
Bufo.
What is that?
And bufo is a species of frog which is highly toxic,
Ah,
and they
okay.
use it in rituals.
Right,
And
right.
it is from the Amazonia, so that means that it's impossible. So we had some kind of exchange with another culture, territory
Right.
from Amazonia.
Because I think they still do this ritual in Peru. Some
Yeah.
places in Peru, right?
Exactly. And also some people use it for another purposes. I will say recreation purposes.
Recreational purposes.
Yeah.
You ever tried?
No?
And this is jewelry, right?
Yeah, this is a headband.
All right. And we continue. Oh, so this would be a next mold for the ears, for the earring. right?
This is not the mold, this is the actual piece. This
Oh,
is the
shit.
thing you put inside your ear.
Right.
Remember that is hollow inside, so it's not heavy.
Oh, okay. And these are.
Okay, so that image you have there is San Agustin. It's another territory here in Colombia with some kind of archaeological pieces.
Right.
And that rock you have there, that rock is Calima. So as I told you before, like the rock thing, you know, like carving rock was in San Agustin, was in here in Calima in the Valle.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is like the canastero probably went there, he saw it, and then he says, okay, good, so in that territory they're like carving rock, why we don't do it? And well, they did it. And this is like the color with the shape of a toucan. So as I
okay.
told you, that beard is not from here.
Right. So they would have gotten that idea from maybe battering. I get the image of a toucan. And I think you mentioned to me also that from the other side, is it the same tribe that they didn't work with gold?
Exactly. San Agustin didn't work with gold because in that earth, in that region, they didn't have gold. So what they have was like really big rocks.
Right.
And they start using it as his representative style of ethnical product.
Right. Good. So we reach the fun part now, which are the jewelry that they would have crafted, particularly for the shaman and other people of higher status. So we're going to take a look at that.
And well, so here we have a lot of pieces of gold.
Mhm.
Remember that the gold is a sacred material. We don't use it for daily use.
Right.
It's just for the ritual and also for the cacique and shaman.
Right.
So we had some necklace, and those are like pendientes.
Right. And this is the next piece of gold here.
And
Just
that's the way they work gold. So they put the gold there and they start hammering
Right.
until it's
flatten
like
it.
it's flat, thin, and really easy. So for example, this is like the thin that result after hammering, and then you can emboss.
Right. You put the holes after and you pick some designs if you want. And these are more jewelry. Some smaller pieces of gold. And from here, This is a glass. It's so small they put a glass in front so to magnify. But it's like nails, yeah.
Yeah, those are like nails. So for example, look at that piece, that earring.
Mm-hmm.
So you notice like it's like it has like the unions, the
Yeah.
joints there. So those are the nails they use to close the piece.
And these are more. This would be like for the chest,
For the
yeah.
cacique.
And this is like a crown.
Yeah, exactly. We have the crown, we have the nose ring, sorry,
Mhm.
the earrings, and we have this is like a pectoralis for the chest.
The chest, right. We have some more pieces here. Everything is unique in its own way. And
Yeah, exactly. Look at it. So you know that for creating those kind of 3D objects, they have to do la fundición a la cera perdida, so which is like a really complex process.
Right.
And it consists of like the gold worker. They need to find some biwas.
Mm-hmm.
With that biwas, they create the mold, and then they create like another shape of clay.
Right.
So when the clay was heat, the was melted inside. They put it out, and they put the gold, liquid gold, melted gold, and they like let it go. After that, they break the mold, and then you have the piece. All those tiny parts are made with the same process, which means that those tiny parts are unique. You can reproduce them because it was only one mold.
Right. So everything is unique in its own way. So we're going to move across to see actual, what do you call it?
That is the cacique.
Right, the cacique.
That is the boss.
So it's going to show how the gold was utilized, how it was used to fit their outfit at the time. And this is the cacique, right?
Yeah, cacique is the boss.
You have anything to represent the shaman?
Well, actually, the things that represent the shaman are there.
On that side.
The poporo, yeah. We don't have like an actual image of the shaman.
Right. So he has all the gold, because he's the boss. He's got to make sure all the ladies like him. And this is just a idea of what the village would have looked like.
Remember that the house is called Maloca. Okay?
Maloca.
Maloca.
Right. And this would have been the rivers because they would have settled closer to the rivers, right?
Exactly. Because they need food and also gold.
Right. And in this piece here, we have like a burial site.
Like a grave.
Right.
So exactly, what is the thing? In that age, when you died, you take all your belongings.
Right.
All the things that you belong were buried with you too. So in those yards, we put a lot of gold too in food. Because they believe that after death, there was something else.
So in those jars there, they would have put like gold, and like in this case, you would see gold on the bones in the coffin. It's very similar to the Egyptian rituals when they're mummifying the pharaohs. They would put their belongings, their gold, and even slaves if it's that necessary.
Yeah, and also like the hole was like 15 meters of under the ground.
Right. So then we reach to the final part of the museum, and we're going to just look through quickly and escape. Go to somewhere else. So here the jewelry became a little bit more complex. They started to do a little twisty thingies. Some frogs, more pottery. Oh, this is quite interesting because this is what was used to shape the head of a child, like in this image here. So basically what it is he was explaining is that when a child was born, it depends if they wanted the child to be a shaman or whatever the case may be, they would shape the head of the child, and as the time go on, the child will fall into that particular role. And these here are earrings, and they seem very much similar to the modern designs that we would see today. And this would have been for sewing, right?
Oh no, that one is for like body painting.
Oh, this is for body
stamps.
painting.
Yeah, this is for zooming. This is the uso.
Right. So this is for body painting. Strange, like stamps, he said. And these here you would see the different shapes, and this one in particular, like different shape of the head, which would kind of represent what the tool was used for with the child. Right. So that comes to the end of the tour at the Museo del Oro. And what's your name again?
My name is George.
So this is George. George, thank you so much for helping us with this whole journey. We have learned a lot, and we're going to come back again with some more people sometime.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah?
coming.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Thank you.